हाय गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल। सो आज हम आए एक स्विट्ज़रलैंड में एक ब्रूअरी की टूर के लिए, जिसको मैंने ऑलरेडी टूर कर चुका था 2018 में थ्रू वन ऑफ माई बैचमेट्स जेल टियर। उसने वापस से ये टूर अरेंज करके दी है हमारे लिए। तो आप बने रहिए चैनल पे, आपको पूरी ब्रूअरी का टूर मिलेगा। फ्लेट्सलॉशन ब्रूअरी है, ये कार्ल्सबर्ग का सब ग्रुप है।
So the tour began with giving us the details regarding the itinerary for the day and ये पूरा जो structure है यहाँ पर ये एक मिनी वर्जन है of the brewery and पूरा दिखा रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर क्या क्या है and आप देख सकते हो कि ये काफ़ी बड़ा है। ये आसपास में पूरा माउंटेन्स का भी लुक दिया हुआ है so that आपको पता चले कि कौन सा लोकेशन है and कहाँ से क्या दिख रहा है बेसिकली। So this brewery is very famous for its architectural importance and ये मॉडल देख के ही आपको समझ आ गया होगा कि this is made to resemble a castle and ये बहुत ही स्विट्ज़रलैंड के आइकॉनिक जगह पे बनाया गया है। फेल्शलॉसन बियर इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ कार्ल्सबर्ग ग्रुप एंड यहाँ पर जो भी आपको दिख रहे हैं ये सारे बियर्स जो है वो कार्ल्सबर्ग ग्रुप के पार्ट है एंड वो हमें वही बता रहे हैं कि कौन से बियर्स है।
Since 2000, Feldschlösschen has been part of the Carlsberg Group. From the village brewery at Clapton, from the first intrepid brew.
सो यहाँ पे ये बता रहे हैं कि वाटर का क्वालिटी कैसी है, लाइक दिस इज़ नॉट जस्ट अ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अ मिनरल वाटर। ऑल्सो हमको इन्फॉर्म किया जा रहा है कि एक पाइंट ऑफ बियर बनाने के लिए कितना वाटर यूज़ होता है।
Okay. And these are different kind of things also. मुझे देखिए यहाँ पे। Yes. Correct.
chocolate, some sense of coffee maybe. Exactly.
Weizenbier und Dunkelbier
Exactly.
and IPA.
Yes, or maybe
Pale
lager
ale.
or
Yeah.
lager.
Yeah.
And here you see also a lot of more different malt sorts and yeah, with different colors, different tastes. And only with this one resource, the brewmaster can influence the beer a lot in color and in taste.
Okay.
And it's all about the hops. That's how the hops is looking. It's a climbing plant. It grows 8 to 9 meters in just one season. And it belongs to the family of the hemp plants.
Yeah.
You can see the family heritage then because of these female buds of the hops. When you open up or crack up one, you can see the yellowish stuff, the yellowish powder underneath the green petals, and that's the so-called lupulin, and that contains all the bitterness and all the aroma and all the scent and all that stuff. And that's what the brewmaster wants to bring into the beer.
Okay.
So the hops is spicing up the beer, it brings in the aroma, and that's the flavor. Yeah, you could directly smell it when I opened up the lid of
Yeah.
the box. It's
I
very
think we
intense.
could smell it also when we were walking to the brewery also. That time also we could smell it.
Absolutely. Storage and transportation. Continue with the next box. This time, surprisingly,
We
nothing
adjust on
to touch,
which.
nothing to smell. It's all about the yeast. That's how the yeast is looking during fermentation. When the yeast is working, it builds up this foamy top, this foamy roof. It's the so-called Kreuse, and that's how the yeast is looking under the microscope. It's a one-celled microorganism. It belongs to the family of the fungus. Here was the model there before, and now you can have a look into the engine room.
Yeah.
It's also
That's
very well
huge.
decorated, very huge. And this one
Zoom
that
kar
was
thoda.
formerly the steam-driven engine, and that was producing the cold between 1900 and 1950. And nowadays, those
Are the
small
actual
little
ones.
guys are doing the job. And
Okay.
one of them has the same power than the big one.
Okay.
And we have about 5 of those mint-colored ammoniac compressors. That's formerly a Western Switzerland that was formerly a Western Switzerland company, but now we produce their beer according to their recipe on our kettles. Then we have everything on the pink boxes or the cubes. That's a beer mix drink. Actually, that's not produced here, but it's an alternative to our beer portfolio. And then we have the absolutely biggest group, everything on the blue cubes is, it's also our main brand. All those beer are Feldschlösschen. And they were for sure produced on those kettles here exactly in Rheinfeld. This group grew a lot over the last years. Because when I started in 2019, and this group was way smaller. The youngest addition to our group is the Pils. And because we had a contract with the Czech state, we are not allowed to produce a Pils. It was denied that we can have a Pils. But we made kind of a cheat or a trick. We produced something that was very similar according to the recipe, and we just called it Hopfenpale.
Okay.
That was our how can I say it? Like, pills like beer. But we are not allowed to call it pills.
Pills.
But this year in 24, this contract was not in use anymore, so we are allowed to
Allowed
use
to drink the
pills.
pills.
And that's why it was our youngest addition to this big group. Or not, those are
Radlers.
all alcohol-free beers. Cubes, those are also smaller breweries, Feldschlösschen bought up, like the Basel Bartek, Berno, Gurten, or the Hürlemann from Zurich.
Okay.
This one is a children and teenager beer without any alcohol.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
yeah, a lot of Swiss
Kids.
teenagers drank that when they were kids or young on their children parties. It's the heart of our company. It's the heart of every brewery. And you have the mashing pans and all that stuff. But from the outside, it's still in this old copper.
Okay.
And that's very, very rare. Normally, with breweries in that scale and with that size, they just tore out everything and put in stainless steel tanks.
Yeah.
They look kind of ugly, but colorful window. When the sun is shining in, it looks amazing. Theophil Roniger made his first tries in this pan. Back in the village of Magden, in the restaurant of the village, he started to brew his first brew, and it contained about 400 liters in the beginning. When you compare it with the 40,000, it's insane how much we could increase the capacity and all that stuff.
Okay.
And they have stainless steel balloons in the back, and we can.
I think this one is
see
open.
it or not. And yeah, so see it maybe here a little bit. No, you cannot see it really. Maybe you can. Also, kind of cute. It's kind of an homage how it looked back in the days when we.
Okay, this were the.
Those are the open fermentation tools. Exactly.
Barley, hops, everything, water.
And this whole cellar was in use until 1987. What's that fence for, or that hole, or maybe that fence in the ceiling?
To blow the air? Or
Kind of, it's a ventilation system.
Yeah.
During the fermentation process, the yeast is eating up the malt sugar and producing alcohol and CO2. So the CO2 is not toxic, in fact, but it's kind of dangerous. It's invisible, it's heavier than the normal oxygen, and it swaps over the edge and goes down on the ground. And normally it would fill up the room, and the workers that are working here would die because lack of oxygen. And that's why we have this fence and hole, so the CO2 can flow out easily because it's heavier
And the
than air,
bottom.
and some fresh oxygen
Coming from
comes
the top.
in the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is now just a museum part. We don't need the space because we have way much space, and therefore we just let it here so people can watch and see how we have done it back in the days. It's clean and closed, so no foreign air can come in or no outside air because this is filling. The bottle or the can filling and the keg filling and the transportation or the delivery.
Okay.
Perfect. You see also a very, very small hole, so a person had to go in there to clean it.
Same thing like what we have, the modern one.
Exactly.
वहाँ पे भी देखो होटल छोटा
Exactly.
साइड पे क्लीन करने ओल्ड टाइप है वो
स्टेप रखा है ना.
Those are all tools from the beginning. And you see the barrels, the wooden barrels.
the kegs.
That's not made anymore. You just have steel barrels. So-called Kieselgur filtering station. And Kieselgur, those are formerly there were formerly plants. So plant-based fossil
Organic.
minerals. Ah, it's cloudy. That's
Cloudy.
That's
Yes,
word.
I
That
was
makes
cloudy.
sense. Not foggy, but actually
Cloudy.
That makes sense. Naturally cloudy, unfiltered. That's the word in English. So therefore, we try to not use it that much. But in here, we fill up all our kegs. This one machine can fill up 20 liters, 30 liters, and 50 liters. You see all the barrels on the wall, and the one in the corner is cut in half, so you can or could feed in it.
Okay.
Own firefighting station in here, so they could react quickly if something happened.
Okay.
And it's closed for the next 3 or 4 days.
Christmas break.
Exactly.
Oh.
Sorry, take care.
Yeah.
It was cold.
And now we go to the staples. Very massive. You can come if you want. You can also touch them. That's no problem. Just take care that you don't put the finger into your mouth. But if they turn around and if they come to you, then then yeah, you can
You're
easily
lucky.
touch and pet them. Normally
My God.
they're interested and they turn
They're
around,
huge.
but maybe they're just
Yeah.
hungry now and they're not interested
And
about
they're
that.
so tall and huge.
Yeah, they're really cute. They recently they get shaved,
Yeah, trimmed.
so they're trimmed exactly, so they don't have too much
Fur.
heat, or they're not warm and sweaty, because normally in wintertime they don't dry that fast, and then they
Yes.
get sick and like
You want to touch?
humans. You see, we have eight. You have eight
I can't
boxes,
reach.
and
ये देखिए टर्न
maybe
किया.
she's turning around. Hello, Lara.
You know his name?
Hallo. Hallo, Lara. Wie geht's dir? Gut, gut. She is so cute. She's beautiful. So, actually, we have.
सो ये सारी जो बियर्स है यहाँ पे टैप पे यू कैन ट्राई ऑल दैट एंड आप 1 लीटर तक बियर ट्राई कर सकते हो बिकॉज दिस कॉस्ट इज़ इंक्लूडेड इन योर टूर टिकट. इनकी अपनी मर्चेंडाइज भी है. सो यहाँ पे इनके मर्चेंडाइज का अलग अलग सामान मिलता है. तो अगर आपको सुवीनियर के तौर पे खुद के लिए या फिर अपने किसी फ्रेंड के लिए गिफ्ट करना है तो वो भी आप बाय कर सकते हो. यहाँ पे लाइक कैप है, टी शर्ट्स है एंड स्लाइडर्स है.
Hoodies है.
काफ़ी अलग अलग टाइप की चीज़ें हैं. देन अगर बियर वगैरह लेना है वो भी आप खरीद के ले सकते हो.
Mugs है.
देन मग्स है, अलग अलग टाइप की सब चीज़ें हैं. और या तो फिर सिर्फ
Magnets
आपको
है.
एक सोवीनियर के तौर पे कुछ एक एक्सेसरी या कुछ लेना है तो वो टाइप की भी चीज़ें यहाँ पे
10
मिल
है.
सकती हैं.
4
लाइक
मैग्नेट.
हाँ, ये काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सा बियर बकेट है यहाँ पे. काफ़ी बड़ा भी है. आई थिंक 4 से 6 बियर्स आ जाएगी ना इसमें पाइंट.
ओके. वो ये है मस्टर्ड सॉस. जैसे गुड़ी पैकेजेस बनाया उसने.
हाँ, ये पैकेज भी है अगर आपको हैम्पर लेना है या किसी को
पास्ता
गिफ्ट
है.
करना है तो.
Pasta is in the shape of barley and hops, the
या
traditional Feldschlösschen.
गौर पास्ता.
Beer with glasses. इसमें बियर है, ग्लास है और भी. सो फाइनली हमारा टूर ख़त्म हो चुका है. उसके अभी हमें फ्री बियर टेस्टिंग मिलेगी. साथ में उन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छा प्लेटर भी हमारे लिए अरेंज किया है. सो यू कैन सी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ चीज़, प्रेटल्स है, और ये साथ में ये जो ग्लास है, आफ्टर टेस्टिंग इसको हम अपने घर पे लेके आ सकते हैं एज अ सोविनियर. सो आप देख सकते हैं जैसे कि काफ़ी सारी बियर्स है, तो इसमें से आप सारी बियर्स ट्राई कर सकते हो. तो लेट्स सी. तो हम स्टार्ट करेंगे विद द ओरिजिनल वन. तो ऐसे करके हमें इसको सपोर्ट करना है. रोस्ट. सो गाइस, हमारा टूर ख़त्म हो चुका है और अभी हम बियर एंजॉय कर रहे हैं. साथ में फूड प्लेटर है, प्रेटजेल्स है. तो आज का वीडियो हम यहीं पे ख़त्म करते हैं. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो आप हमारे चैनल लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करिए. और अगर कुछ चीज़ आपको जाननी है, ये आपको बतानी है, तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में हमको ज़रूर बता सकते हैं. अब तक लिए प्रोस्ट.